So I recently just unfollowed and unsubscribed all of the major online business gurus on the internet. Anybody you can think of, Russell Brunson, Alex Hormozy, Myron Golden, anybody, because not because I was scammed or that I think anything that they're saying is wrong, but because consuming all of their content only slowed me down and it actually made me doubt myself more than it helped. Now, a lot of times when we start online businesses and we get into this space, you find out about one person and then that person leads you to somebody else and that person leads you to somebody else, and then you learn one skill and you find out this person is an expert with this skill, so you learn it from them, and then before you know it, you're following all of these different people. And it's amazing because what you're doing is you're bypassing a lot of mistakes that you can make on your own, and you're learning from other people's mistakes, right? And in theory, that's the theory, right? That's the thought that goes behind following all these people. But at the same time, what that does is it's too many voices in your head. It was too many voices in my head, right? Like it got to a point where I was following so many different people who had so many different philosophies about how business should be run, what kind of business model you should run. If you're doing this, is completely wrong. If you're doing this, then that doesn't mean you actually want a business. If you're living like this, that means you're not actually working hard. It was so much, and I really couldn't take it anymore. And I've been running a business for since 2016, right? And I really didn't like. I remember quitting my job in 2018 and going all the way in and with my family business, and we made like over $1 million in revenue, and that was great. But at the same time, the entire time I was running that business, I was plagued with so much self-doubt because I was watching and listening to everybody all the time. And every time we had a business model, like me and my dad and my stepmom, every time we had a business model, I was kind of second guessing it. Well, like this guy, he's making a lot of money doing this thing, so what if we go over here? And it causes so much distraction. Okay, so recently, the reason why I unfollowed and unsubscribed to everybody is because I really came to the realization that you have to create your own philosophy at some point, right? At some point in your journey, even if it's not business, but even if you are a parent, you have to come up with your own philosophy. And the only way by doing that is by living your own life, is by running your own race. Okay, so 2018, when I quit my job, I could go full in and run my business. I was still living at home. My mother, I had a 1999 used car. I had no kids, no fiance, no home. Like I was by myself, and I was able to kind of run, and do a lot on my own. I had a lot of freedom. But now, 2025, my life has changed so much since then that I can't listen to somebody else's version of what they think an entrepreneur should be, or what they think, or how they think you should be running your business. I don't know these people, right? You don't know these people. I don't know these people. So I really had to come to the conclusion that I have to do what's best for me, and I have to run the business that I feel will, positively change my life, not anybody else's life. Okay. So that was one of the reasons why I unfollowed everybody. And another reason is you have to think, when you have there's a reason why teams have one coach, right? You don't have multiple head coaches on the team, because once their philosophy gets a little different, once it becomes too much, then you don't know which direction to go. I remember like literally being stuck for weeks, not knowing what kind of business I should run. Should I be, running a membership? Should I be coaching? Should I be doing high ticket stuff? Should I be doing low ticket stuff? Should I be doing courses? Should I just be doing ebooks? Should I be doing, like, it was maddening because you listen to people who all have had tremendous success in each of those areas, and obviously they'll swear by it. They'll swear by their way that made them successful. So that's not what you want to do. And then the other trick to it is that I don't think a lot of people realize is it all kind of works. Any business model, any system, it all kind of works for the people that it works for. If your life can be, if you can work with a lot of people, if you can coach a lot of people at a time, that's great. If you can't, then this probably might work. So if you work it long enough, it all seems to kind of work if you working long enough. So that was kind of one of the things I kind of had to get to and realize on my own. Like, we became successful by just doing a podcast, a membership, and selling merch. Like that was our thing. That's how we made all of our money. And I don't see anybody else kind of teaching that way. Not to say that, you have to teach that way, But that was just the way we did it, and that was okay. That was, and I wouldn't tell somebody to do exactly what we did because I don't know their goals, I don't know their life. So that was another reason why I said, like, you kind of need to quiet your mind. You kind of need to quiet all the voices. There's too many voices in your head, and it could literally leave you stuck. So that was another one of the reasons. Okay, right now my new philosophy, right after running a business for so long and now having two kids and having like a family that I have to kind of work around. I can't just dump all of myself into my work anymore. I have to be here because and that's what I value. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who have kids and who say, they put their kids and their family on the back burner and go to work 24/7 nonstop, and that's all they care about. I don't. You know what I mean? I value my family, and I'm working for my family. I'm not working for the sake of just a number I want to hit. Like, I'm working because I want to provide for my family. So I want to be there for my family. I want to catch those moments. I want to be there for those moments. So that's what I value. So my new philosophy is building a business around my life, around how I want my life to be, how I envision my, quote unquote perfect life. I was watching Alex Hormozy, and he was just talking about how him and his wife, they don't want kids because all they care about is work. And I just thought that was the saddest thing I've ever heard, right? Not to judge them, but knowing how I feel about my family and knowing about how I feel about my kids, I can't imagine a world without them. So to think that, there are people who will sacrifice that for the work, I understand it in a certain, I understand it in, in one place because, that's what they care about. So you have to just kind of respect it. On the other hand, I'm just like, that's not me. And I can't listen to somebody constantly give me business advice who that's their values. You get what I'm saying? So what I did was, I'm saying, yo, I have to find my own philosophy. I have to find my own way and run my own race. And that's why I've just unfollowed and unsubscribed to everybody. And my timeline is clean. Like, I'm not, distracted by the shiny object syndrome where I'm doing this thing and then this person said, well, this is a great opportunity. And I'm going, damn, that is a great opportunity. I should start doing that. And then I completely derail all my progress from what I was doing over here. You get what I'm saying? So I'm grounded now. I'm more grounded. I'm more aligned in what I'm trying to do with my business, what I'm trying to, what I want my life to look like in the next 3 to 5 years. I'm not thinking in spurts of 6 months anymore because I definitely was for a while, especially again, listening to a lot of these people online who have great information, really inspiring information. And they talk about, what you could do with 6 months straight of focus. And I'm just like, yo, I should do that thing, right? I should just blitz and go all into that. But I'm like, that's not what I want my life to be. It's just not. I want my life to have some type of balance. And if you in the comments feel like that is unrealistic, more power to you. But I'm going to run my race, and I suggest you run yours. I suggest you, and not to say, because as you see, I have books around behind me from all of those people that I mentioned that I stopped listening to, that I unsubscribed to. But not to say that these books are even obsolete anymore, because I've taken bits and pieces in all of these books and I've created my own philosophy. One of my favorite authors, okay, Ryan Holiday, he was a research assistant for Robert Greene. Robert Greene wrote the 48 Laws of Power, the Laws of Human Nature, 33 Strategies of War, and he early on got a opportunity to get a book deal. And Robert Greene told him, I don't think you should take it. And he was just like, why? Like, this is a huge opportunity for me. I thought this was the progression. Like, I'm a research assistant for you. I start my own writing career, and this is it. And Robert told him something that I think any artist, entrepreneur, anybody who wants to do something in life, like, I think he said something really profound. He said, you haven't lived enough yet, right? And he was like, what the hell? Like, what does that mean? Like, you haven't lived enough to actually have something to say, something to really, to something to really have advice for, you know what I'm saying? So, and now at this point, I've been running a business, an online business, for a little while now. I've lived enough, you know what I mean? I've lived enough to kind of create my own philosophy, to create my own way of doing things. And I think that will help me, even propel me even further, because it's not so many voices in my head. It's not so many people tugging me in either direction virtually. I don't know these people and they don't know me, but they've been tugging me in so many different directions for so many years now, because I just thought that you had to be subscribed and you had to listen to all of these people, because obviously they've had massive success on their own right. So you think I should listen to everybody, but that's not how you, that's not what you should do. And I don't think so, right? Just like if you are marketing a product, you don't market to everybody, because then nobody is hearing your message. So if you're listening to everybody, that means you're not listening to anybody. That's why you get stuck. That's why I got stuck, right? So if you find yourself stuck, I say, think about what you want your business to look like, what you want your life to look like. Okay. Find a coach or a guru or somebody who you want to follow that mirrors that the most. And then once you outgrow that person, then move on to another coach or to another person that you follow, that whose philosophy that you follow. And then after a while, you'll start to see that you are creating your own philosophy, and then you'll be able to go even further, right? So that's my message. My name is Malcolm, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you have your own thoughts on how you feel, business should be run, I would love to hear it in the comments below. If you want more content like this, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. All right, peace.